You guys had pieced your way down that huge like cliff face, jumping over a bunch of different things. The whole tying each other together with rope worked out really well. And you started making your way across the giant grassy fields towards where you had seen some smoke on the horizon. It took you a couple days, and you guys started to see these giant lizards. Nobody really knew what they were, but we all know what they are in as non-player characters in the world. So you guys were experiencing these huge leviathans known as brontosauruses everywhere. Um, you came to a clearing that led towards a rope bridge, and I think it was Reamer who noticed. And right as you were starting to make your way across this kind of like swampy clearing, a bead of light shot across the sky, exploded in a fireball against the side of one of these behemoths. The whole herd of like 40 or 50 of them start freaking out, running around erratically. You guys have kind of a skills challenge, as it were. You make enough successes, you make it across the bridge. You guys, after a little bit, you realize it's going to take another day or so to get to this encampment or this settlement or whatever this thing is where you saw like smoke, possible signs of civilization. You also realize the sun never sets, and we're like, how are we going to deal with this? Some people suggested digging holes. Some people set up like some makeshift sort of like head tents so everybody could get some sleep, and it seemed like it worked. We'll see what happens moving forward. And you've made your way to this sort of ramshackled looking settlement where there's a number of buildings. They're not lean-tos. They look like they're built pretty solidly, but they don't look like they were built with by like master craftsmen. I think I had said that like where there's wood and paneling on the outside of some of these buildings that none of which are more than like 2 stories tall, that you can see like light coming in or going out from, so like if the wind were to blow or the rain were to fall, it would conceivably go through the sides. um, there's I think I'd said the settlement probably has somewhere around 100 souls living there. Most of them you recognized as lizard folk, or I think somebody got this, or troglodytes. You noticed a few other races that you made some checks and didn't realize what they were. You noticed that like a lot of the people eyeing you, but we're not sort of paying you heed. Like you were kind of like a quick thing to behold away from. It's like somebody who's got like a like some sort of deformity where people look and then sometimes just look away to pretend like they didn't see it. And that's the kind of sort of like machinations that this town, this settlement has around. And as you're taking all of that in, you heard a small, quietish voice from behind you speak up and say, "Ah, Outlanders, we don't get many of your kind around here." And you turn to see this gnome, sort of monk haircut, kind of long, stringy facial hair coming down, face tanned, bright blue eyes. And he says, "How did you come to find yourselves in Tusk, one might inquire?"
We were granted passage to spread the word of the new savior, says Elzarin with a big fiery red fro.
Well, I'm trying to think. What was the show that was on Toonami for a little while that had like the dude that was kind of like, I just remember there was like a dude that had a through space.
So I know there were a few. I didn't watch them. I know there was one that was like Space Dandy, but I don't think it was that one. Was this
It might.
one Bobobo Bobobo?
That's exactly the one. I thought it was Space Dandy as soon as you said Bo. Yep, that's the one. Is that the kind of hairdo we're talking about?
I'd
Bright
have to
red?
double check. I don't even know how I fucking pulled that
I don't
shit
know how
out.
you knew that.
Fucking
That's
Bobobo
amazing.
Bobobo. Like I
Oh
don't know
shit.
exactly how
Yeah,
many it
even if
was,
it's
but I
not
know it
that
was like
show, I
four
just like
one
the fact that we've
threes.
now said the name of that
Bobobo
show several times.
Bobobo.
Okay, so you say that, and he kind
Yes.
of he turns his head and looks to you and says, The savior? Who is this of which you speak?
So just so you know, it's exactly like that, but it's got like a flame sort of like outline on like the circle parts of like the side of the hair if you're looking at it from the front, and then it has the symbol of Daryl colored into the
Kevin,
front.
you're muted if you don't know that.
Unfortunate.
I had a feeling.
So yeah, he has, just so you know, Bobobo has the exact same hair as
Gotcha.
Elzarin right now, but it's kind of like almost like a flamey, like orange and red, like look on the outside, like outer part of it, and then it's got the symbol of Daryl in the middle of his fro, like at the front, like right above his head, and he's just like, this guy, Daryl.
Oh, Daryl, I know not of this deity, he says with like a question in his voice.
That's what we were told. That people around here haven't heard the good news about this guy. And yes, he is a deity.
We're here to
Interesting.
spread his light through the land.
Interesting. Well, many who come to Shark find their way. Many come with ways of their own. Whether they are adopted or not, well, that is always to be seen. My name is Lyle, and it is my pleasure to introduce you to... And he raises his hands kind of theatrically, and he goes, my town, known as Port Tusk.
Oh, you're from here.
Well, I too was an outlander once who, through a series of rather unfortunate occurrences, was deposited here. But I've found my way here, figured out how to, like I said, this is my town. Well, no one's eaten me yet, so I call it my town. Do any of you bring skills that perhaps you too could become members of this town? What do you bring to Port Tusk? Apart from obviously words of great knowledge of your divine being there.
Reamer steps up and says, I craft things.
And Lyle's like, a robot man. Excuse me. Interesting. Did you craft yourself, or Is everyone else seeing the robot man?
How do you craft yourself? Did you make yourself?
I don't know.
You're
Is anyone else
small man?
Is anyone else freaked out by the robot man? No.
We've been traveling with him.
The shield is looking incredibly confused.
Lyle's just sort of like, Lyle equally is looking confused, and he says, well, I suppose I should start to show you around. You see, probably the most confusing thing I found when I came here was that, well, the locals are a little backwards. Now, I'm not saying that to be mean, and I don't find myself elite in education-wise at all, but you see, there's no coin here. Everything works on barter and favors. And there seems to be this almost constant need for things to happen, and by doing those things, or by providing skilled labor, that everyone provides for each other. It's very, I don't know, very communalistic. And I've been here for many years, and it still is odd to me at times. But, for example, I happen to be a brewer. It was a partial trade before I came here, and I have since gotten better at it. And as such, everyone wants what I have, so they come to me. But, alas, I'm not very good at doing things like, tending crops, slaughtering pigs, or small creatures, because they don't really have pigs here. You get the point. And so when they come to me and they say, we want your beverages, I respond with, well, I need food, or I need this, or I need that. And deals are struck in such a manner. The more that you do for people, the more they're willing to deal with you. And oftentimes, the better deal you'll make. Is it weird and strange? Yes. But this is also Port Tusk. And as such, weird things happen all the time. And as if it was cued upon his words,
They're British.
a female lizard folk comes screaming into the town just like, "Ah, help me, God, they're coming out." And Lyle looks to you and says, as if on cue, perhaps if you are interested in making, a space for yourself here, that might be something interesting for you to look at. Good day. And he just starts to come and see me at my shop if you have more. And he starts to walk away.
How much? All right, he's gone. I'll ask him later.
What were you gonna ask him? How much for a beer?
Yeah.
So he will gladly answer that,
Yeah,
but
later, when we meet
Yep.
up with them.
Yep. In the moment,
Then we would owe him a favor. How much
In
is
the-
a beer for a favor? What kind of favor? Like,
he's come into my back room and I'll show you my touchy dungeon. No,
one beer is
no.
a handy.
1 beer is an HJ, 2 beers a BJ, 3 beers a ZJ, and if you've got questions, you shouldn't have 3.
oh god.
Anyways. So this throng of different sort of humanoids starts to form around this woman who just throws herself down on her knees and is just like, it came from the ocean. It's going to be incredible.
It came from the ocean?
Yep.
Also, do you know what a ZJ is?
I have 2 questions for you, madam. Slaps her across the face. 1, what came from the ocean? 2, what is a ZJ? And she's like, I've never had 3. And also, I don't know what it was.
Can Elzarin make an insight check to see if she's ever had 3 beers?
Absolutely. Roll away.
God.
I feel like that part's a lie. Do I have insight? Ah, shit, that's not good. Where is that thing? Might as well get my dice out, right? Remember
Get some D's.
when we get
D's on the
wait,
desk.
what am I doing? Nope. 1 second. There's always this thing. All right, so that's 8. So I'm like, dude, this chick seems like she's the type of person who would do that, and I'm just kind of convinced of it. And I
don't know if I would
want
wanna-
her.
I don't know if I would
Yeah.
want to cash in my favor to know that. We have to kill a monster to find out what a ZJ is, and then that's it. First quest.
So I will say that you have after rolling that, rather than you don't believe her, you actually fully believe that she does not know what a ZJ is, and that she is horrified that some sort of monstrosity has struck terror in what must be an area nearby.
Well, Elzarin's still convinced.
Someone in the crowd is like, "What will we do? The guard's away. Who are we going to call for this?"
How many favors do you guys have to do for the guards?
Oh, no. So nobody really pays any attention to you in answer to that.
Oh. Okay. All right. We can help, but we would like some housing. We're new here, and we need a place to rest.
We're new in town.
Hey there. I can help your friends that are being murdered but first, that like no one seems to really like
Hold back,
pay you
hold
any.
back.
I'm coming on a little too strong. Coming
I
on too
have
strong.
animal handling.
I'm good with rope. What? Um,
And
it,
other
it's-
things.
and other things. So like no one really like when you're just like we need housing. People are just like, what are we gonna do? We need the fishermen to get us fish.
Well, if you need food, that's like, let's see, that's double. So, yeah, housing seems reasonable for that. People.
Again,
So
everyone's just like, what are we gonna do? Ah!
you offered to help first, right, Sarah? Or were
Yeah.
you like
We can
calculating?
come to your aid. I'll like draw my sword and raise it up in the air, and then we'll all get into position to look like the front of like a New Hope or something.
No, we
It's
are
like
definitely going fucking Ginyu Force on this shit.
I don't
I
know. I just wanted to.
I just didn't go with that because we have one less, but you know,
I
I'm willing to work with it.
I
Oh,
wanted
you
to. I
think
wanted to know
they
who was
couldn't
going to
have made it
cling.
work?
I wanted to know who was
They
going to
did,
cling
yeah,
to
it's true.
Seraph's leg for episode 4.
Well, we're actually going Ginyu, because I'm just imagining trying to figure out who is posing like what.
Captain Ginyu
Like
looking between his legs.
right. I feel like that would be more Seraph than anyone if we're going like kind of captain situation and what would make sense.
So
I feel like Elzarin kind of needs to have his hair with the symbol kind of facing forward and upwards on this one.
I don't think I ever felt more in tune with the character than when you just said I think he would do this, and then I put myself in the situation and I'm like, would the armor prevent him? I keep having heavy armor in my mind, and I'm like, oh, that would suck. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, it's medium. It's okay. I could do it. Sure.
so
Such
you
immersion.
like pull your sword up. You stand it up and you're like, we will be of assistance. Something heroic. And someone goes, oh, the strangers will help. And then somewhere in the crowd you hear, or die trying.
And Elzarin goes, "Yes, we will help."
Somebody else is like, by the power of. All right, so the people around you are like, the fisherman's dock is that way, and they're pointing toward like that clearly this woman just came running up, who has like collapsed onto the ground and is just sort of like weeping and holding her head in her hands. What do you guys do?
I heard. Yeah, I'm just gonna like try to console her and then cry louder to make her stop.
She's like, strangers, your customs are so strange.
That's what you sound like.
Maybe the strangers won't help us, and they're just here to kill us. Oh my God! Someone just like you see like a troglodyte just faint, like drops to the ground. A little kid starts crying. Mommy!
She can't help you now. Yeah, no, but we can help you.
We can help you, kid.
It's okay.
All right. So, are you guys going to start making your way down the sort of like recommended path, as it were?
Well, I still like we were saying we're going to help. As if we get their attention and they're paying attention to us, we're going to be like, what will we get in return of this?
Well, if you could save the fishermen, I mean, ask of us what you will, but first you must try to save them.
Yeah, so anything?
Sirs, if you're not going to help, then leave. We're
Well,
not going to bother with you while people die. Goodbye. And like the crowd starts dispersing in different.
So,
I'm confused. Like, so help for free? There's not even. You guys are just. We're gonna. Okay. So.
You
how
don't
can
have
we
the time
even
to
how
argue,
can we
but you
even
don't have
start?
another option.
That's what I'm trying to figure. I want them to give something like, what would this be? I need some kind of taste of what this would be worth. Like, if
Give
it's,
me like an intelligence or wisdom, whatever works better for you, because I could make an argument either way.
I'll go wisdom to like pick up on my surroundings, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a +2. So that's an 18
Okay.
for Seraph.
So what you get the strong feeling of is sort of twofold. One, the longer you stand here talking, the more likely whoever you would be going to save are going to be dead. That's one. And two, the concept of like let's barter before we do something is probably not a great way to build your renown. Like if you're here and you're going to try to like make a name for yourself, there's a couple ways you could go about doing that. Like one would be to do good deeds and have people recognize that you are like a force of good, a force of justice, a force of Daryl, if you will. Another way would be like this is straight up like out of Fable, right? Another way would be is just to start slaughtering people. Now, I have put that out there by saying that, but I'm truly hoping that's not the way you guys go. That's
I
not what I
mean,
intended with this game at
I'm
all.
definitely not. I mean, I wasn't considering that at all. But like the thing is I don't know what we would get. I'm sure, and this is completely metagaming wise, is I would have faith that you, like the townspeople, would be thankful after the fact and just be like, here's food, a place to stay, and all that stuff. And then I'm trying to figure out, that sounds like kind of lowballing and whatnot. Like we wouldn't get
Well, here's the thing.
like any.
You guys don't have any reputation, right? You literally have walked in out of the wilderness and
We're not asking for payment up front.
well, so it sounds like you are. And again, and with the longer that you wait to do this, the more people are like, why are we talking to you? Because I mean, you could just sit here and keep talking to us for an hour, and then everybody's dead.
And then they've lost their fishermen, which
Right,
they said they
but
did.
Which they're gonna do anyway without our help. So,
Right.
So like they're not going to talk to you. Like they're not going to sit here and barter with you. That's not what's going to happen. And so with your wisdom check, you fully grasp that. Like if someone were to walk into your home and there was a problem you couldn't deal with, and they're like, "Hey, I could help you." Awesome. All right, what are you going to give me for? You'd be like, "Get out of my home. I don't want you here. I don't want to deal with you."
I mean, it really depends on the problem. I mean, like if I'm in crisis right now or something, if it was like if someone was right here, if this woman was being attacked in the town before our eyes, if we didn't need to travel somewhere, I get that. Like, okay, let's help because it's right here. But they're saying, hey, like go here, something's happening over there. If you can save them, uh, please do it. And it's just like, okay, what are we going to get in return? We heard this works off a bartering system. We're new here. We're not sure how this works. What would this be worth to you? What do we get in return?
And their response is, just go save them. We can just. And that's about all you're going to get out of it.
All right, then we're not helping. Like I know Seraph, like really deeply down wants to do this, but there's no, like
I don't like.
I know it's
so
a good thing.
I'm having a hard time with your party's actions. I really am. Like you guys have decided to be champions of the deity that you chose to worship. The deity figured out how to get you to a place to like try to get people to follow you. And then when there's an issue, if you guys aren't getting paid, you're like, we're not going to do this. Like I'm having a hard time as DM understanding what your guys' motivations are. Like I have no problem with like, saying like I cry at the woman or doing whatever, but if you guys are mercenaries,
I mean, that was a joke.
Then this is mercenaries. But no. Like I mean, I don't have a problem with it. What I'm saying is, if you guys are going to be mercenaries, then you're going to be mercenaries, and this is going to be a very different game. If you guys are going to be people that try to like build renown and fame and like get people to want to follow you and like follow your doctrines and everything like that, like I think like out of game we need to figure out what's going on with that because
so one of the things for me is I'm blown away by the amount of trust we're supposed to have in everything that's been presented so far in terms of like the hissy spider dude, and it's just like I didn't trust him at all, and it's like there's things where it's like, yeah, there's like, this should happen, and it's like there's no evidence that we could like trust these people to keep their word. So it's something where it's like, with that, to help and then potentially be shunned out, or it's just like, oh yeah, that was kind of, whatever, is something where it's just like, I'm kind of sitting back and letting TJ take this, but it's something where it's like, with these things, we don't know exactly, again, as TJ said, if we play metagame and just accept that like you're going to give us something from it, it's like, yeah, but it's kind of taking us, it takes me out of the character to just be like, oh no, just follow along because Tom's gonna set it up. So it's kind of something where the character is looking for like what will happen, and then they're just like, they ignore us, the only option that they have. Like, I don't know, like if you said that when we say that they disperse, do they just go on about their business and it's just like, fuck the fishermen at this point?
Well, so I'm sorry. So in that circumstance, like, there's clearly people that are trying to bring the woman back up to her feet to get her out of the dirt. But there's clearly nobody, like, rabble of a crowd that is going to start making their way towards where has been indicated, because they're, like, as they said, the guards are out taking care of another issue, and none of them are prepared. It's kind of like, if somebody runs into town and says, like, there's an orc army invading and there's farmers, the farmers really aren't, I mean, like, maybe there's one or two, but like, the farmers aren't going to do anything. Like, the farmer's going to run in their house, and that's what's going to happen.
Right.
And so, like, I get what you're saying, that you're like, I want to trust that something is going to happen, but you guys don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that's all that. I guess
that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, that's
it's just
kind of the point.
Just it doesn't even need to be like what I originally said. Like, it doesn't need to be, okay, give us a piece of land or something. I'm thinking we don't have a place to stay. No one is even offering us food. We're low on rations. Like, I'm not like, my paladin is a good character and we're all trying to fight for a god here, but it's like, okay, we're going to go do this. We're going to be weakened. And then we're like, I just want to have a discussion before they're just like, please help us and we'll give you some food. Just like anything. Just give me an example of the bartering system, because I don't have like gold in my mind or anything like that. You know what I mean?
So I apologize. I thought that's not what I was reading into what you were asking the people for. I thought you wanted like a solid, here's a list of everything we're going to give you if you go help us right now. And I'm like, no one's going to do that. No one's going to be like, could you sign this contract right here? This is what we're going to do, and that's how we're going to do this.
No, well, also there's chaos going on. I mean, who's going to provide what? That's completely understandable.
I'm sorry. I thought that's like, you're like, we're not going to help unless there's a very specific list that equals our demand, and we're also going to barter for that right now. And so that's why I was like, I was misreading what you guys were saying that you were doing, or what Seraph was saying to them. I mean, if you're just looking for affirmation that they're willing to like assist in some way beyond like whatever this scenario is going to require, yes, like, somebody will say to you, if you can help us, we'll help you. Like, that was the statement that will be made. Absolutely. I didn't make that statement because it sounded like you were making demands, and people were like, who are you? And like, why would we say that to you?
Right. Yeah, I wasn't trying to do it in like an offensive way. Like, well, I mean, when I came out, I set the bar really high, but I was just trying to figure out what kind of threat level this was, or like what they're willing to do. I know that I came out like with like, hey, give us like this or something, but I'm really just looking for like, so I don't know what this would merit in payment.
So somebody will definitely say, if you're like, we need supplies, if we can help you with this, somebody would be like, we can see what we can do when you get back. Like, just help the fishermen if they're still even alive. And if you had maybe like talked to the crying woman and tried to get some information from her, like, maybe that would have been a way for these people to see that like you actually had some interest in this. But the interactions that have happened thus far were they did seem rather aggressive for people that are just as strange to you as you are to them.
Hmm.
You know, like the first time that the rebels met the Ewoks, all did not go well, right? Because the Ewoks tried to eat people. So, but then we find out the Ewoks were friendly. Nobody's tried to tie you to a stake yet, but it's also a very strange scenario where are there local customs? Are there whatever? What you do know is that there is a cry for help. And that, yes, to give your characters a little bit of peace of mind, that there is the offering um, of some kind of support should you be able to help.
All right. Well, at least we know payment would come in some form because we need help surviving. So,
ZJs.
yeah. We will help save this town, and then I guess we'll say in the name of Daryl, like we'll need to say something to just be like, follow us. So, in the name of Daryl, let's go.
And as you say that, you hear somebody, who's Daryl? And then somebody else says, I think they said Daryl. No, they said Daryl. And there's like an argument starting to break out about the proper like pronunciation of whatever you just said.
It is Daryl, and he will lead you to the light.
Like you hear just somebody like as you're walking, you hear someone like the thing in the sky.
And with that,
Metaphorically.
oh, do I not have? What's Remus got? Wait, where's my stuff? Wrong tab. I might not have anything. Yeah, never mind. It was gonna be cool, but it wasn't.
Whoa.
I was looking for like minor illusion or something. To
Do you have prestidigitation?
nope.
Oh.
No, I have message, which it's like, oh no, that's not gonna fucking help anything, because that's just, specifically, people. Because I was gonna shoot something or like have something go in the air, like Daryl, and have like the symbol. all I have is control flames. Are there any flames around?
Wait, are you you're a cleric now, right?
This is Elzarin.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, they're like, I was just going to say there's like druid craft, but obviously not. Yeah, I mean, like, unless you have something you can be creative with, absolutely let you try to, I mean, you want to do something.
If there's just like any sort of like fire around or something, I was just gonna try and create like the shape of like Daryl's symbol in it.
I'll say that you can see like there's like fire or like something that maybe somebody was using to like heat up a pot or something on, like that's kind of away from structures, that's relatively
right, because I am going to cause it to just create that shape, and it can actually stay for an hour. So I'm just gonna point at something and be like Daryl, boom, and then like have that symbol show up and like stay in the flame.
And so at first people are like, oh, and then when it doesn't go away, you hear, oh my god! And then you guys just keep walking down the road. And a short while down the road, like honestly, maybe 100, like I don't know, 100 feet, 150 feet, 200 feet, you see that to a beachfront, and I will bring you guys there right now. You guys all arrive on what looks like a relatively peaceful beach shore. There's two large rocks that the waves are kind of lapping up against. The sound of gulls circling overhead is rather oppressive in like it's so loud. You see 3 boats. Obviously, they're on the map. This one still looks relatively intact. One that you can see peeking out through between the rocks you can't really tell. And then this one looks like it's been smashed and maybe broken in half. You also see large tracts of like sand furrowed going back into the waters. And if anybody wants to give me a perception check, go ahead.
Perception. A 10 for Seraph and a 3 for Baller.
26 and 15.
You guys are having trouble making out those boats. What are those things in the sand?
26 and 15.
All right. With a 15, you're able to see what looks like the remains of a body here. With a 26, you see that this looks like a body that may still be moving a little bit. And you hear from somewhere else like the sound of like like whimpering and crying, but you can't really make out.
Okay.
I would also like everybody to roll some initiative, because as you come onto this scene, you all start getting like the familiar warning signal that comes from the sword of.
Wrong guy.
18 for Seraph and a 12 for Baller.
12 for the balls.
16 for Elzarin. And 19 for Reamer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Super ready.
Super ready, guy. Hang on, I just got to check out two things really fast.
Zooms his eyes in, and then he's just like, something. Alright, so now that I'm on the right character.
And then, okay. All right. So with that, Reamer, you get to go first.
Okay. So, did I notice you said over here? I noticed a body still moving.
Yeah. So the body that's right there that you just pointed at appears to be like twitching a little bit. It's a little too far for you to make out, like lizard folk or troglodyte, something. But it's definitely like a humanoid shape and is twitching a little.
What about these other two? Do I notice anything on those?
So this one that's right here is very dead.
Okay.
Very, very dead. This one doesn't appear to be moving, but you definitely heard like the sort of like crying, whimpering sound over by it.
Right. So I feel like in that case, what we do.
As you get right there, give me a perception check.
I haven't moved yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. As you get right there, give me a perception check. As you get right there, give me a perception check. As you get right anywhere, give me a perception check.
Okay. I'll just give the perception check.
No, move first.
That's not great. Okay, so because what I was gonna do is get, I think about. Ooh. Yeah, right there on the edge.
I'm sorry, I just clicked off the map for a sec.
No problem.
Okay, as you get right there, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. So that is a 26.
Okay, you're not sure what you're looking at, but it appears that there is something disturbing the sand right there. Right there.
Okay. What I'm going to do What is this? So I think what I might do, and it's just the sand that I'm seeing. All right,
Yeah,
first,
it's so. I mean, you had a good, but you're not sure what you're seeing. It looks like the sand is disturbed and maybe shifting a little bit.
all right. So like the only things I can do, I'm gonna go with healing word on this guy.
Holy range. Okay.
Yes. So that's gonna be 7 points of healing that he gets.
Okay. All right. So all of a sudden, this like holy light starts coming down, and you see him like all of a sudden kind of groan, like clutch his arm over to his side, like it's like, what happened?
And I think with that, I I don't have any way to actually do anything to that area that I saw like being disturbed over here. So I'm just gonna call out and yell back to these guys saying, "There's something in the sand."
You stay in front of a beach, something in the sand. Oh, we're not
Yeah,
gonna
and
go
I'm
over there
sorry,
then.
and like I point to where, like in
Okay.
between the two rocks, but it's like something in the sand.
Okay. All right. Cool. That was Reamer. Seraph, you are up.
So did you point in a general direction of
Yeah, like I
where it
pointed
wasn't?
from where I am. I pointed like in between the two rocks. So like I'm saying that there's something in the sand in like this area. Is like all I was saying. Like in that, you kind of get the idea of in between the two rocks.
How high is the rock over here?
I'm going to say the smaller rock, the one that's right here, probably like at its peak is like, I don't know, 10, 12 feet tall. And then this one probably goes up to like 15 or 16 feet.
15 or 16?
I'm
All
sorry.
right,
Are they like
so
angled?
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're kind of like topographic
Yeah, I
looking
was
down
gonna
on them.
say it's almost like it like each of those is like 2 feet or something.
Yeah, no, yeah, actually I can see why you'd say that. Yeah. So like as the rings get like concentrically taller, those are like the high spots on the rock, and then like it drops down, and where it's sort of flat, it drops straight down to the beach.
Yeah, I was thinking of them as like 15 foot like straight walls up to that point. So okay, cool, good clarification.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the top of this one, probably 10 or 12 feet. Very top of this one, maybe 15, 16.
Cool.
okay. And I move up to here. If I were to dash, could I get on like a lower part of this rock and stand up, or would it looks too high?
Which rock are you talking about?
This one right here, the bigger one.
I think with like a good athletics check, you could up there.
All right, then I will dash and I will start to climb as fast
All
as
right.
I can.
Give me an athletics check.
Ooh, that is horrendous. That's a 2 on the die, but that is an 8 total.
All right. I'm going to say that like you run over, and as you put your hand up to kind of get up to that first ledge that's right here, that's right in front of you, you start to pull yourself up and foot slips, and you kind of don't make any headway. But like looking at it, it looks like it's not difficult, and maybe like a DC of 10 would have gotten you exactly to where you needed. But like you'd have no problem doing it on a turn. Do you want to give me? And you know what? I won't even make you roll it. And so if you look, you see the same thing that Reamer saw, and that there's some sort of disturbance in the sand right there. Like it's not violently moving or anything, but it seems to be shifting a little bit. And as you notice that, you also, as you step there, start to hear that same like sort of weeping or sobbing sound that seems to be coming from the other side.
All right. I would yell, to Baller to try to get on the other side to get over here.
All right. And with that, Elzarin, you're up. I'm sorry. I had to look at the list here.
Okay, with that, Elzarin knows what's up. Don't worry, guys. I got this.
The Fro knows.
So from this point, nope, it doesn't. So, yeah, on this point is where he will center his fireball.
Okay, I have a quick question. What is the rules in 5th edition for a fireball wrapping around corners?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it gains anything.
So like in 3.5, I only know this from 3.5 that like if a fireball's blast, you could draw a straight line from that center, the fire would go out, and then there were rules about like what the angle was if it went around or past a corner. So can you just do like a quick like fireball blast 5e like around corners or something? Just look, because there is something that will trigger if that happens one way or another. I'll hold you to a fireball. There's nothing wrong with doing it. I want to make sure I know.
Spreads around corners. This ignites flammable objects in the ring that aren't being worn or carried. So yeah, it's basically like just exactly a 20-foot radius around a point.
Okay, and so like if there's a corner, it just engulfs it, and if there's something in the way, it obviously can't do anything about it. AKA, where the radius is in the rock, no fire appears. That makes sense.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry. So like what I'm saying is, where's the snap to center? Okay, so if you're saying that the fireball is 20 feet, right?
Yep.
So where I'm drawing on the rock, it's not doing anything. But as soon as it's past the rock, like right here and right here and right here and right here, it's affecting things, right? Like it's affecting all this, and then it goes back to not affecting, effect.
It says it spreads around corners, so I feel like it would affect that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, yep,
Yeah.
Understood. All right.
So the big thing is I focused it where it was just like just on the outer rim of hitting Seraph and whatever that body is, but trying to blast it in there. But from what I'm understanding, it's like the simplicity of like, yes, you can throw a fireball indoors and it'll go around corners, but not like in 2nd edition what I heard where it's like, yeah, it spreads because it takes up a certain amount of room.
Okay, so what you're saying is where you want to drive, it will not affect, I gotta go back, sorry. It will not affect this body, but it will affect this boat right here.
Yes.
Okay, and it will, obviously, it will definitely affect this, but and it will not affect him. Okay,
right.
Perfect. All right, so yeah, in that case...
Dex saving throw?
Dex saving throw it is. I gotta look this up. All right, Dex saving throw. That one is not okay. Oh, the die stayed on the table. Okay, what was the save?
It is a 15.
Okay, you launch your fireball, and tell me what you do for damage.
All right, so that's a fireball. We can just go. Oh, weak. 25.
25 points of damage. Okay. A couple things happen. The first is, as the fireball explodes, it reveals in the sand this. Did I just move that to the right?
We see it.
Okay, you guys can see it. It reveals this swarm of hermit crabs that start bubbling up from underneath the sand, and the fireball just like explodes all over them. And like you see, like half of them are bashed against the rocks and like caught aflame and just stopped moving, but the other half is there. The total was how much? 15?
25.
20? Yeah. Okay. More than half of them. And so I got to go back to my view, objects and tokens. I put it on the wrong layer. Sorry. Token layer. Okay. You guys can see that?
Which one?
The one that just appeared. Is it back on your layer?
I looked away. Is it the things in between the rocks?
Yep, that one
Yes.
right there. Okay, and so that one after that hit is I'm using the dots
Yeah.
to indicate damage. All right. You also affected the ship right here. That ship is like blown away, and you hear the sound of, instead of crying, two children screaming as they took damage from the fireball that you just blew away their only shelter.
Where are the kids?
The kids were hiding underneath this boat right here. That's where the sobbing was coming from. They both made their save, and so instead of half damage, I'm giving quarter damage. But how much is that? So what is a quarter of 25?
It would be 6.
Okay. In that case, one of them is up. You don't know this, but you hear one of them like scream, or you hear two of them scream, and then one of them stops screaming. The other one is like wailing uncontrollably.
Whoops.
Heroes of the day. All right.
Let's go over there. Maybe not that way, actually. Because it was 10. Let's go right to there. All right. So, that's Elzarin's turn.
All right. That was Elle's turn. This guy starts to get up. And the minute he starts to get up, everybody who can still see the water over there. So I'm going to say that, Seraph, you might be a little hard to see this because of like your vantage point right now. But the water starts to like boil and like brine as something is moving underneath it, and emerging from in the water comes this thing. This enormous crab-looking monstrosity that I will do a little. I gotta go back to the right layer. Objects and tokens, and we're gonna go.
Metroid, what the fuck is this thing?
Cribbler. Crab pillar.
And so like it's got this like creepy looking, like almost like parrot mouth. There's like these slits for what looks like where the eyes should be, but the eyes are actually like those two glowing blue dots, like right up on the top of the shoulders. It's got spines all over it, and the claws themselves, you can't tell if there's like runes carved into their claws, or if it's just some weird like markings on them. But this creature comes out of the water, chunk, 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 and comes up and tries to grab this guy that's been saving much. And chances are it's going to do that. So first claw comes in, and the guy's like, "Oh, not again!" Dodge it. Claw comes by it. The second one comes in, grabs him, and any one of these. Yeah, and you can see the claws like pierce into him, and he's like, "Ah!" as it starts to squeeze, and you can hear like the sound of like ribs cracking. And fortunately, the guy somehow musters strength for it not to not to go any further. And the claw like releases him, and you see the thing like snapping like with its claws, and it's like, help me! It goes to. Actually, it's going to be that guy's move, and he is going to try and disengage because that's not going to provoke. And oh, is it not going to let me do that? Is it on the map lane? Sorry, guys. Token layer. All right, go back to objects and tokens. All right, and I'm going to make that guy go. Oh no, I clicked on the wrong thing. I'm making the dirt move. Sorry.
No worries.